Hi all, jet setters and trendsetters. I apologize for the AI voiceover, but I have an infection in the throat, and the doctor has told me I have to stop talking for a while, quite a while. If I do not, your throat is going to take longer to get better. So this is what I've done to overcome that problem. Lots and lots of typing, something that I am not good at. So if you enjoy this type of video I've produced, please give me a thumbs up. Maybe give a comment. And we'll see you in the near future. Please sit back and enjoy. It's about small little town just north of Mount Gambier where lots of famous people have been born. I am one of them. Here we go.
Hello, jet setters and trendsetters. Welcome back to another video. This video is going to be about a small town in the southeast of South Australia, called Penola. Penola is nestled in SA's limestone coast. Penola is a town rich in character, history and culture. Significantly, it's best known as the spiritual home of Saint Mary McKillop, who with Father Julian Tennyson Woods, founded the Sister of Joseph and began a movement that would change the education across Australia. Their legacy is deeply woven into town's fabric, reflecting its sites like the Mary McKillop Interpretive Centre, Father Woods Park just north of the town, where a stunning chainsaw-carved sculpture by Kevin Gilders bring their stories to life beneath the gum trees. When wandering through Petticoat Lane, one of SA's oldest residential streets, you will experience a beautiful preserved snapshot of the 19th century settler's life, Stein cottages, working herb gardens and red gum curbing. It creates a vibe sense of Penola's early days. Historic atmosphere is enhanced by the nearby landmarks. Tied to local pioneers like Alexander Cameron and John Riddick and the poets such as Adam Lindsay Gordon, whose legacy still echoes through the region today. Borderlining Penola lies the world-renowned Coonawarra wine region, a narrow strip of fertile Terra Rossa soil, producing some of Australia's finest Cabernet Sauvignon. Together, Penola and its surroundings offer a rare blend of spiritual depth, pioneering history, natural beauty and rich viticulture. So let's start. Let's head to the wood carvings north of Penola. About 21 kilometres north of Penola, along the Riddick Highway, lies Father Woods Park, a quiet roadside memorial that tells of a powerful story, through 7 intricately carved red gum tree trunks. Created by chainsaw sculptor Kevin Gilders and unveiled in 2010. These carvings honor Father Julian Tennyson Woods, a pioneer, priest, scientist and co-founder with Mary McKillop of the Sister of Joseph. Each sculpture captures moments from his life and ministry in the bush, teaching, preaching, exploring and caring for his parishioners. The park marks the site of one of his original shelters and stands in tribute, not only to Woods himself, but to the deep spiritual and educational roots of Penola region, its spiritual and striking place, where art, faith and local history come together. Now we'll go for a short drive. Just west of Penola, a place called Yallam House. Whilst travelling to Yallam House, we'll go through the beautiful vineyards of Coonawarra. As you drive through Coonawarra, nestled in the heart of South Australia's limestone coast, you're greeted by rows upon rows of lush vineyards stretching across the famous Terra Rossa soil, a rich, red earth that glows in the sunlight. These neatly lined vines seem to go on forever, giving you a real sense of why this area is so celebrated for its Cabernet Sauvignon and other premium wines. With around 5,600 hectares under vine, Coonawarra may be small in size, but it's packed with character and world-class wine heritage. Along the main strip and surrounding roads, you'll pass a mix of boutique wineries and well-known cellar doors, many with signs inviting you in for a tasting or tour. Names like Wynns, Balnaves, and Magella might catch your eye, and nearly all of them offer a warm welcome and a chance to sample what the region does best. The landscape is flat and open, dotted with gum trees and farming sheds, and you might even spot tractors working between the vines or locals tending to the day's vintage. If you're looking to stay a night or two, you'll come across the Chardonnay Lodge, a standout landmark in the region. Set among the vines, it offers a peaceful place to rest with cozy accommodation, a wine bar, and a restaurant serving local food and Coonawarra wines. Whether you're a wine enthusiast or just passing through, a drive through Coonawarra offers a beautiful blend of rural charm, world-class vineyards, and genuine hospitality. Just a short drive west of Penola, set among rolling paddocks and towering trees, stands Yallam House, one of the finest and most beautifully preserved Victorian-era mansions in South Australia. Built between 1878 and 1880, this grand home tells the story of wealth, ambition, and elegance in the early days of the region's settlement. The house was commissioned by John Riddick, a Scottish pastoralist and politician, who played a central role in the development of the Coonawarra wine region and the town of Penola itself. John Riddick came to Australia seeking opportunity, and he found it in the fertile lands of the southeast. After striking success on the goldfields of Victoria, he purchased vast tracts of land in the Penola district and named the estate Yallam, an Aboriginal word believed to mean plenty or abundance, a fitting title for a property that symbolized prosperity. At the height of his influence, Riddick owned thousands of acres and employed hundreds of workers. Yallam House became not only his family home but a social and agricultural hub of the district. The house itself is a sight to behold, a two-story mansion made of local limestone, featuring hand-painted ceilings, intricate cedar woodwork, and more than a dozen beautifully furnished rooms. It still holds one of the finest collections of William Morris wallpaper in the country, and its period furniture and artworks remain largely intact. Walking through its halls today is like stepping back into the 19th century. Surrounded by manicured gardens and historic outbuildings, Yallam Park stands as a proud monument to the vision and legacy of John Riddick. Today, Yallam House is privately owned, but occasionally open to visitors for tours and events. Its story is deeply woven into the history of Penola and the Coonawarra, a reminder of a time when the land was being shaped by settlers, and grand homes like this rose from the ground as a symbol of hope, fortune, and the future of the region. If you ever find yourself wandering through the historic town of Penola, in South Australia's southeast, you're walking in the footsteps of a man who left a deep imprint on Australia's literary and cultural landscape, Adam Lindsay Gordon. Born in England in 1833, Gordon came to Australia as a young man and soon made his way to Penola, where he served as a mounted policeman. With his tall frame, piercing eyes, and love of horses, he quickly became a familiar and respected figure in the region. But Gordon was more than just a lawman. Beneath the rugged exterior was the heart of a poet and philosopher, often scribbling lines of verse after long days of patrolling the bush. His love of the Australian landscape and the challenges of colonial life gave rise to powerful, often melancholic poetry. His verses, such as those in bush ballads and galloping rhymes, spoke of struggle, honor, and wild freedom, echoing the life he lived on horseback across the vast open country. Despite his talents, Gordon's life was marked by hardship and inner turmoil. He battled financial woes, personal losses, and depression, a storm that eventually overwhelmed him. In 1870, at just 36, he tragically took his own life. Yet his legacy lives on. Today, Penola remembers him not only as a brave policeman and daring horseman, but as one of Australia's earliest and most enduring poetic voices, a man who saw both the beauty and the sorrow in the land he came to call home. Mary McKillop was born in Melbourne on January 15, 1842, the eldest of 8 children in a poor but deeply Catholic Scottish family. From a young age, she felt called to help others, especially the poor. In 1860, she travelled to Penola, South Australia, to work as a governess and help support her family. It was in Penola that she met Father Julian Tennyson Woods, the local Catholic priest. Father Woods was passionate about providing education to children in rural areas who had little or no access to schooling. Mary shared his vision. In 1866, with his guidance and support, she opened her first school in a small stable in Penola, teaching children from all backgrounds. That same year, Mary wore a simple black dress as a sign of her commitment to God, marking the beginning of the religious order she would found, the Sisters of Saint Joseph of the Sacred Heart. Together, Mary and Father Woods created a new model of Catholic education, one that was free, accessible, and focused on the poor. The Sisters of Saint Joseph soon spread across Australia, opening schools, orphanages, and shelters wherever they were needed. Mary's work touched thousands of lives and changed how education was delivered in Australia, especially in rural and disadvantaged communities. Mary McKillop died in 1909, but her legacy lived on. In 2010, she was officially declared a saint by the Catholic Church, Australia's first. It all began in a little town called Penola, where 2 people of faith believed that every child deserved a chance. As you stroll down Petticoat Lane in Penola, it's easy to feel like you've stepped back in time. The narrow, tree-lined lane is bordered by charming old stone cottages, their whitewashed walls and rose-filled gardens evoking a quiet, slower era. Some of these cottages date back to the 1850s, making Petticoat Lane one of the oldest preserved residential streets in South Australia. Once home to local families, tradespeople, and early settlers, the lane earned its name from the sight of freshly washed petticoats and linen hanging on lines in the front yards, a lively reminder of domestic life in a growing colonial town. Just a short walk from the lane is Mary McKillop Memorial School, and not far from there is the original schoolhouse established in 1866 by Mary McKillop and Father Julian Tennyson Woods. It was here in Penola that Mary began her mission to educate poor children in rural communities, the very beginnings of what would become the Sisters of Saint Joseph of the Sacred Heart. Petticoat Lane sits quietly beside this significant spiritual and educational legacy. It's no coincidence that this little street feels steeped in gentleness and strength, much like Mary herself. Wandering further, you can still see the original timber schoolhouse, now preserved as a historical site. Just behind it, Father Woods Presbytery remains, giving visitors a rare glimpse into the lives of these 2 pioneering figures. Their shared vision of faith, compassion, and social justice was radical at the time, especially in such a remote part of the colony. Petticoat Lane, in its humble way, witness the birth of something truly significant, not just a religious order, but a movement grounded in the care of others. Today, Petticoat Lane stands not only as a tribute to early settlers and domestic life, but also as a quiet witness to Australia's first saint, Mary McKillop, and her lifelong devotion to education and charity. It's more than just a quaint street, it's a living reminder of how ordinary places can give rise to extraordinary lives. At the old Penola cemetery just north of town, some of the earliest pioneer families of the district have their final resting places. Names like Carter, Davy, Hemmings, Bott, and McGillivray appear among the roughly 260 memorials dated from the mid-1800s onward. Although exact burial locations aren't always confirmed, these headstones reflect the lives of early settlers who helped shape the settlement. No widely recognized public figures are documented here, but the graves capture stories of families who established farms, churches, and small services essential to Penola's beginnings. The main Penola Cemetery, situated south of the town, serves as the modern municipal cemetery and holds over 2,200 recorded memorials. Among individuals of local significance are military veterans from World War I and II, whose names are preserved both on the cemetery memorials and the town's war monuments. Prominent figures such as John Riddick, the Southeast pastoralist, politician, and founder of the Coonawarra wine region, are associated with Penola history, though direct confirmation of his burial in the town cemetery remains elusive. Likewise, the famed poets of the district, John Shaw Neilson, Adam Lindsay Gordon, and Julian Tennyson Woods, are deeply tied to Penola's cultural legacy, though none appear to be interred in the cemetery itself. When you visit Penola, you're not just stepping into a historic town, you're stepping into a region full of stories, hospitality, and places to stay that reflect the charm and character of the limestone coast. Whether you're traveling for wine, history, or a bit of peace and quiet, the area offers a delightful mix of accommodation options, each with its own personality. If you like the feel of home away from home, you'll find plenty of cozy cottages and heritage-style B&Bs tucked away in leafy streets, some even just a stone's throw from Petticoat Lane and the Mary McKillop Centre. These charming stays often come with fireplaces, gardens, and friendly hosts who might even share a story or two over breakfast. For those wanting a touch of luxury, there are stylish boutique lodges and vineyard retreats in nearby Coonawarra, where you can wake up to views of rolling vines and sip local wine as the sun sets over the countryside. Travelers who prefer convenience and modern comfort will find several well-kept motels and caravan parks right in Penola, perfect for short stays or road trippers exploring the region. Families often enjoy the self-contained apartments and cabins, where there's space to relax and even cook your own meals after a day of wine tasting or sightseeing. And for those after something truly special, a stay at places like the historic Chardonnay Lodge offers the full wine country experience, elegance, fine dining, and a rich sense of place. So whether you're a solo traveler, a couple on a getaway, or a family making memories, Penola and Coonawarra have a place to welcome you, all set among the vineyards, history, and heart of South Australia's beloved southeast. So that's a look at the heart of Penola, a small town with a big history. We've explored the tree carvings just north of town, stood quietly at Yallam House to the west, wandered through the endless vines of Coonawarra, and remembered names like Adam Lindsay Gordon, Father Julian Tennyson Woods, and of course, St. Mary McKillop, whose legacy began right here. We strolled through Petticoat Lane, admired the old cemeteries, and even found a great place to stay if you're planning a visit. Penola isn't just a place to pass through, it's a place to pause, reflect, and connect with South Australia's deep roots. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this trip through history. I'll see you in the next video.